Day 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft is officially underway. We're sitting here in round 4, and after the Eagles traded out of round 3, they have made a 4th-round pick, which is very intriguing and a sneaky good selection given where we're at this juncture of the draft with pick number 111 overall. The Philadelphia Eagles are taking in round 4 Ty Robinson, defensive tackle out of Nebraska. As we know, going into this draft, defensive tackle was a need for Philadelphia. It was a position that they needed to address. Milton Williams left for the New England Patriots. He got $26 million per year. The Eagles took him a few years ago out of Louisiana Tech in the 3rd round, and so a similar juncture of the draft. And so the Eagles needed to draft at some point a defensive tackle in this class. And going into day 3, Philadelphia had only made 2 selections after trading out of round 3. And it was the back end of round 3 to compile some more picks for day 3 and in 2026 as well. Jihaad Campbell, linebacker, edge rusher combo out of Alabama at 31. Then Philadelphia thought about trading out of 64, but they didn't want to run the risk of losing out on Andrew Mukuba, the Texas safety with good ball skills. He can play nickel. Pass breakup machine, had the lowest passer rating when targeted among all safeties last year. Very similar player to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And so linebacker, edge, safety needs on the football team, and now the Eagles cross off another need in defensive tackle here. Now Robinson is a little bit of an older prospect at almost 24 years old. I never worry about that because with Robinson, you're hoping that you can strike gold while he's on that rookie contract. And while he's on that rookie contract, it takes him within his athletic prime. 6-year senior out of Nebraska where he played under Matt Rule. Matt Rule, of course, really became famous by becoming the head coach at Temple University. And I love the size and the athleticism that Robinson has. 6'5.5", 288 pounds, and the production last year playing at Nebraska in the Big Ten when you're going up against some NFL caliber offensive linemen, really good. 37 tackles, double-digit TFLs with 13, and 7 sacks to go along with that. And he's a unique player with his athleticism, his build, and his size. Thick frame with burst off the line and a really strong anchor. Ty Robinson is a powerful rusher with aggressive counters and an eye for batting the ball at the line of scrimmage. The pass breakup numbers pretty damn good. He had combined for 10 in the last 2 years, and so he can jump up at the line to make impactful plays in that regard. But he's a powerful rusher who can get to the quarterback and come through with some TFLs. And so the measurables at the NFL Combine, something that I imagine caught the attention of this Eagle scouting department and Howie Roseman. 6'5", 288 at the Combine, 6'5", 291 at his pro day, 10-inch hands, arm length 32 1/4, wingspan 79. Maybe you'd like to see that be a little bit longer as far as his length. How about this, though, at right around 290 pounds? You talk about the burst at the line of scrimmage, the explosion at the blink of the snap. That was what you saw on tape for Ty Robinson. That's why he won in getting to the quarterback with those TFLs. You also saw it with the 40-yard dash. 4.83 40-yard dash at 288 pounds. So Ty Robinson is a player who can really move. He's built like an oak tree. And what I mean by that, Ty Robinson is big, he's thick, and he's strong. Some people might say pause in the comment section, but it's true. And he's strong and stout at the point of attack where he's not easy to move. Some people will say, yeah, he's a little bit of a smaller defensive tackle at 288 pounds. Yeah, but he plays a lot stronger than that. And he's able to kind of shift, alter, and tilt the field with that initial quickness. And that is something that allowed Milton Williams to have success with Philadelphia. It's something that has allowed Moro Ajomo to find success with the Eagles. And I expect Moro Ajomo to have a breakout campaign here in 2025. He was one of the highest graded pass rushing defensive tackles last year alongside Milton Williams with limited snaps. And he's going to get some more snaps. And I like the violence sometimes that Robinson plays with. He has the swipe, swat, rip moves that can move opposing offensive linemen. Matt Rule saying, I can't express how much Ty means to me. I can't express it. And so Matt Rule tried to go to Nebraska to change the culture. Ty Robinson was a part of that. And I can remember time and time again when you were watching Nebraska games, because I was very interested in Dylan Raiola, their quarterback who can make plays out of structure. I was trying to scout him and look at what he could bring to Nebraska. There were so many times on defense. Who is number 9? Number 9 was flying around, and he was making a lot of plays. 5-year starter at Nebraska as well, 60 games played, 47 starts. Throughout his career, 26.5 TFLs, 12 sacks, 12 pass breakups, 10 of which have come in the last 2 years. Here's what the Athletic's Dane Brugler had to say about him. Robinson might lack star potential, but rugged competitors with his size, toughness, and ability never go out of style in the NFL. He projects as a rotational defender who fits both even one technique and odd 4-5 technique fronts. So you do have some positional versatility here as well. At Nebraska, he played in a 3-3-5 scheme, lining up as the nose. And so Vic Fangio is going to be able to use him in a couple of different ways. And he helped Nebraska, again, turn around that program culturally. And they had their first winning record in almost a decade. And he posted personal bests across the board with 42 pressures, 12.5 TFLs, and 7 sacks. Grade the pick of Ty Robinson. A popular word that you will hear is value. And on a day like this, the Eagles get value with this selection. Now, our sponsor for today's Eagles Now, our friends at Chubbies. Spring is here. Summer is coming up around the corner. And at the end of the day, your wardrobe deserves a springtime upgrade. So, to sweeten this deal for our audience, for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order when you use the exclusive code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. This ain't the time for fooling. You want to look good when the weather is good. That's when the ladies are out. Or if you're trying to find your significant other. So it's time to let those thighs breathe, whether you're playing a round of golf, you're hitting up a beer garden, you're visiting an actual garden, you're hanging out outside. Chubbies has you covered for all the good vibes that warm weather brings. If you also, in addition to their great shorts, want bright polos that demand attention, check. Killer shorts that show off those beautiful thighs, double check. If you're going to the pool, Chubby's swimwear collection is absolutely awesome. And come on, it wouldn't be a true ad read if we didn't mention Chubby's classic lined swim collection. Without hyperbole, it's the absolute top of the men's swimwear game. Whether you're squeezing out as many beach days as possible before winter or swimming laps at the gym, the ultra vibrant trunks built with a quick-drying 4-way stretch fabric, the best damn swim trunks that humankind has ever created. So one more time, 20% off your purchase, great shirts and polos, awesome shorts and swim trunks, chubbyshorts.com/chat. Use that code chat. As far as some weaknesses for Ty Robinson, I don't see a lot of them. I really don't. And I'm looking at some of the scouting notes here. Sometimes he's more average than above average as an athlete. But hold on. NFL scouts say that. He ran a 4.8 40-yard dash. One issue I do have is that because he's 6'5", sometimes he's a little bit upright. And so that allows offensive linemen to get underneath him. Sometimes he can counter that with his quickness to beat guys and with his strength. But he does have some tightness in his hips and his ankles. Sometimes he can have that initial pop, which will catch an offensive lineman off guard. But with offensive linemen who can quickly recover and catch themselves, sometimes Robinson can be slow after that initial burst. And sometimes he can over-pursue or arrive a little bit too hot. And so that leads to him missing tackles or taking bad angles because he does over pursue to take himself out of the play. And so here we are in round 4. The Eagles have made 3 picks so far, and all of them are on the defensive side of the football. They go Jihaad Campbell in round 1, 31st overall pick. And I'm fascinated to see what the Eagles' plans are for Jihaad Campbell. Do they want to use him as an off-ball linebacker strictly or an edge rusher strictly? What I think the best plan is, cater to his unique skill set and use him as an edge and off-ball linebacker. He's athletic enough and can cover well enough to play off-ball. And you have concerns about Nakobe Dean, but he was recruited as an edge rusher out of IMG. He has the size traits and athletic traits to win as an edge, has experience doing that, has a knack for that, and the talent to do that. And so one of my strengths as a broadcaster, my versatility. I can talk about any sport, and I can talk about any issue as somebody who talks for a living. So one of my strengths is being able to talk about anything, whether it be sports, politics, pop culture, music, fashion, whatever, right? So the point that I'm making, at your job, you want your bosses to maximize your potential, to put you in a position to succeed. I think the Eagles can put Jihaad Campbell in a position to succeed by using him as both an off-ball linebacker and an edge rusher. Now, for Andrew Mukuba, I thought it was a little bit of a reach at 64, but Howie Roseman really likes the player. And he reminds me a lot of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. When Gardner-Johnson was coming out of Florida, he was a little bit lighter. And he was a little bit of a tweener. Was he going to be a nickel? Was he going to be a safety? How about both? And C.J. Gardner-Johnson played both deep safety, making plays on the football. As a nickel, making plays against the run, brings some thump to that position despite a lack of size. C.J. Gardner-Johnson also ran well in the pre-draft. Andrew Mukuba has cornerback size. He also ran well, shot out of a cannon. He plays with that spirit that C.J. Gardner-Johnson plays with. He is a traditional deep safety who makes plays on the rock, double-digit PBUs last year with 5 picks, lowest passer rating when targeted among all safeties in college football. But despite that lack of size, he doesn't shy away from contact, and he can play nickel, which he did at Clemson. He can play safety. And so that's that C.J. Gardner-Johnson type of replacement. And then here, the Eagles help replace Milton Williams. You don't know what's going to happen in the future with Jordan Davis. By May 1st, the Eagles have to determine and make a decision, are we going to exercise his 5th-year option or not, because that guarantees his salary for next year. If he walks and you're not sure what he is still, 2-down player, 3-down player, I think he's more of a 2-down guy. But he's 6'6", 340. Maybe he's slow to develop. He came on last year, but you don't know the future of him. If you don't exercise his 5th-year option, he becomes a free agent. And if he gets paid because the team wants to pay a player with a lot of ability, you have Moro Ajomo still under contract. And now you have Ty Robinson. It's all about replenishing the room. And that's what Howie Roseman has done such a good job of. So be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram at Chase_Senior. In addition to all of the long-form content here on YouTube, I do it all on my social media pages.